Hey guys, Prules here, and today I am going to talk about the AN-94. Now, I don't think this gun is something we could ever really see used in the competitive scene in its current state, but I still feel like it doesn't get the attention it deserves. It's an interesting gun for the fact that its strongest mode fires a 2-round burst, as opposed to the usual 3 for these kinds of guns, and this weapon is actually designed specifically around this mechanic because the second bullet comes out almost with the same dead-on accuracy as the first. The damage of this gun is really no different from the other ARs, with a max damage of 25 up to 7 meters and dropping down to 18.4 at 50 meters, and with the heavy barrel attached you won't hit that low of 18.4 damage until 75 meters. However, even though the mechanic of this gun would seem to favor the heavy barrel, I found myself enjoying the flash suppressor quite a bit more, and I played Conquest, Rush, and TDM rounds with this thing, and in most maps I would find myself preferring that reduced vertical recoil from the flash suppressor. I should also note that I started out not using the foregrip, but after just a few rounds with the grip in play, I instantly decided to keep it on, as it does a really good job of helping that side-to-side control with the gun. That combo of having the flash suppressor and the foregrip helped tame it immensely, and although the gun is really accurate, the recoil was what was really screwing me up with these longer range engagements. Typically, I don't hear anyone ever recommending scopes beyond the 1.5 times sights for assault rifles, but I found that I actually liked the PKA 3.4 times scope, which is the Russian variant of the M415. Keep in mind, I typically use this for Conquest and Rush because it does a stellar job of making the AN-94 a great defensive weapon, because you don't want to close in too much on enemies, because any skilled player with a gun like the AEK or M16A3 is going to outgun you pretty much every time, so the AN should definitely be used with a more conservative playstyle. Although I don't have any footage of my suppressed AN-94 gameplay, my DX-40 got a little weird on me one round. I actually did quite well with it suppressed in TDM, so if you're wondering if that's a viable attachment, I mean, it's not totally out of the question, but I would be really hesitant to do this outside of deathmatch, as Conquest and Rush will have a lot of long-range distances to cover, and that suppressor can get you into trouble there. Close quarters, the gun becomes a little more interesting to use, considering sticking to burst fire isn't so optimal in scenarios like that, yet switching to fully auto isn't something so easily done on the fly, and in these cases I honestly just try and beat out the other person through hip firing rounds, and that seems to have done me well so far, because in that time a lot of other players will try and go with the aim down sights, but I'll just simply beat them to the punch, and in close quarters this gun can kill people with just 2 bursts, which is not totally out of the question considering how quickly this gun dishes out those 2 bullets. All in all, I think this is a rather fun gun to use, but only in very particular scenarios, so the TDM heads might want to pass on this, but if you guys ever play a little bit of Rush or Conquest, it's worth checking out for defensive roles and clearing targets from a distance if you're on the offensive team. Something I really hope DICE continues to work on in the next patch is the balancing of rather underpowered weapons, which I think pretty much every burst fire gun now falls under. The M16A4, KH-2002, and AN-94 are not lost causes, and I think some tweaking can be done to make them much more desirable weapons in more scenarios. I'm not so concerned about fully auto weapons with burst toggles getting that fire mode buff, but for these guns that are essentially built around it for this game's purposes, I think some work needs to be done to at least make them more popular in pub games. Anyways, that just about wraps up what I have for you guys on the AN this week. If you guys have any other opinion on the state of burst fire weapons, I would love to hear them, because I hope to see DICE start taking them a little more seriously as we start rolling out more patches. Don't forget to take a second and rate the video, and I'll see you guys next time.